All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. We're going to pick a topic. We're going to
Mm.
go deep, and today's no exception. Today's topic is all about how to clean your stovetop.
Ooh, exciting.
Really clean it. I'm talking sparkling,
Yeah.
like it's brand new. I don't know about you, but mine uh, could use a little love. And for this, we are turning to the experts over at Clean Sweep Chronicles. They got all the tips and tricks.
They do. They've got the inside scoop on banishing those stubborn, burnt-on bits and leaving your stovetop gleaming.
I am so ready to learn this. I
Uh-huh.
cannot wait to have a sparkling stovetop. So let's get started with the basics. What do we absolutely need to have in our cleaning arsenal before we even start?
Okay, so you're going to want to gather your cleaning dream team, and luckily it's probably stuff you already have around the house. Dish soap, baking soda, and vinegar. These are your everyday heroes.
Right, the classics. I've got all of those.
Perfect. And then to really get that pro-level shine, you'll need microfiber cloths. They're especially important if you've got a ceramic or induction stovetop because they're super gentle and they won't scratch.
Okay, microfiber cloths. Noted. I usually just use like paper towels. Is that bad?
Paper towels are fine for a quick wipe, but for a deep clean, microfiber cloths are the way to go. They're much better at picking up grime, and they're reusable, so it's good for the environment too.
All right. Eco-friendly and sparkling clean. I'm on board. What about for like really, really stubborn messes? You know, those burnt on bits that just won't come off?
Ah, yes. The nemesis of every clean kitchen for those tough battles, you might need to call in reinforcements, something like a heavy-duty degreaser specifically designed for cooktops.
Okay, so basically like calling in the big guns. Got it. So we've got our cleaning supplies ready to go. But before we even think about tackling the stovetop itself, what about those grates and burner covers? You know, the ones that sometimes look like they've been through a war zone.
Oh, absolutely. Those need some love too. And the best way to start is by giving them a nice long soak in warm, soapy water while you're working on the rest of the stovetop. It'll help loosen up all that grime and make them much easier to clean later on.
Smart move. It's like a little spa treatment for your stove parts.
Yeah.
So grates are soaking, cleaning supplies are assembled, and now we're ready to tackle the main event, the stovetop itself. But wait a minute, there are like a million different kinds of stoves out there. Gas, electric, ceramic, induction.
Yeah.
Where do we even begin?
You're right. There are quite a few different types, but don't worry. We're going to break it down step by step and by stove type. So no matter what kind of stove you have, you'll be able to get it sparkling clean. Let's start with the classic gas stove.
The OG of cooking. All right, so how do we make those burners gleam?
For gas stoves, your go-to cleaners are either an all-purpose cleaner or a vinegar solution. Just spray it on, let it sit for a bit to break down the grease, and then wipe it away with a microfiber cloth.
Easy peasy. But what about for those super stubborn spots? You know, the ones that just refuse to budge.
For those, you can unleash the power of baking soda and vinegar. Sprinkle some baking soda on the stubborn areas, then drizzle some vinegar on top and watch the cleaning magic happen.
Oh, I love that fizzing action. It's
Yeah.
like a little science experiment right on your stovetop.
Oh.
Okay, so gas stoves are covered. What about electric stoves?
With electric stoves, we have to differentiate a little bit because we've got ceramic tops and coil tops.
Right, right. So what's the deal with ceramic tops? They always seem so delicate, like one wrong move and you scratch them forever.
You're not wrong. They do require a bit of extra care, so you want to use a cleaner specifically designed for ceramic cooktops, or you can use a vinegar solution. Just make sure to avoid anything abrasive that could scratch the surface.
Okay, gentle cleaning.
Mm.
Got it. So no scrubbing, like I'm trying to win a wrestling match.
Yeah.
What about coil tops? Are those as high maintenance?
Coil tops are a bit more forgiving. You'll still need to clean the drip pans separately, but for the coils themselves, a simple wipe down with a damp cloth usually does the trick.
So coil tops are kind of the low maintenance friend of the stove world.
Mhm.
Nice. And what about the fancy new kid on the block, induction stoves? Are they really as easy to clean as everyone says?
Induction stoves are definitely the easiest to clean because the surface itself doesn't get as hot. There's less residue buildup. A mild cleaner or vinegar solution is usually all you need.
Okay, so induction stoves basically clean themselves awesome. But I'm guessing even those superheroes of the kitchen can still get hit with stubborn stains.
Of course, even induction stoves aren't immune to those pesky burnt-on bits, but luckily we've got a solution for that too.
I'm sensing a baking soda and vinegar solution coming on.
You know what, for those tough spots on an induction stovetop, just make a paste with baking soda and water, apply it to the stain, let it sit for a while, and then gently scrub it away.
Baking soda and vinegar. Those two are like the dynamic duo of cleaning. They can handle anything, but let's be real. Even with their superhero powers, sometimes those stains are just plain stubborn. What happens when we've tried everything and they still refuse to budge?
Mm.
Do we just wave the white flag?
Absolutely not. We never surrender to stubborn stains. We just need to bring in some special tactics and maybe a little bit of elbow grease.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm all ears. What are these special tactics you speak of?
So remember how we talked about microfiber cloths being gentle on those delicate surfaces? Well, sometimes you need a little more muscle to tackle those really stubborn bits. But don't worry, I'm not talking about breaking out the steel wool.
Oh, good, because I still have nightmares about my steel wool incident back in college. Let's just say my landlord wasn't too thrilled.
Yeah, steel wool is definitely a no-go on your stovetop. But here's a trick that's both tough and gentle. For those super stubborn baked-on messes, try using a razor blade scraper.
Hold on, a razor blade on my stovetop? That sounds a little terrifying. Are you sure about this?
I know it sounds scary, but trust me, it's a game changer. Just make sure you use a brand new blade, hold it at a low angle, and gently scrape away the gunk. Think of it like peeling off a sticker, not carving your initials into the stovetop.
Okay, I'm willing to give it a try, but I'm going to be super careful. I'll picture myself as a culinary surgeon precisely removing those stubborn stains.
Exactly. Precision is key. And remember, gentle pressure is all you need. Now, let's talk about another cleaning champion, baking soda paste. It's like the all-natural superhero of stain removal for grease and grime. Just mix baking soda with a little water to form a paste. Apply it to those greasy spots, let it sit for about 15 minutes, and then scrub it away with a non-abrasive sponge.
Baking soda paste's like a mud mask for my stovetop. This cleaning routine is getting fancier by the minute. But what about those burnt-on food stains that look like they've been there since the dawn of time? Is there any hope for those?
Of course, this is where our trusty baking soda and vinegar duo really shines. Remember that satisfying fizz we talked about earlier? That's the magic at work. Sprinkle a generous amount of baking soda over those burnt-on areas, then drizzle some vinegar on top and watch the cleaning volcano erupt. Let it sit for a while to really loosen things up and then scrub it away.
Okay, I'm officially adding volcano cleaning to my list of cleaning techniques. It sounds way more exciting than just plain old scrubbing. But I have to ask, are there any special considerations for those delicate ceramic stovetops? I'm always paranoid about scratching them.
You're right, ceramic stovetops need a little extra TLC. Avoid anything abrasive like harsh scrubbers or even baking soda as they can scratch the surface. Stick to those microfiber cloths, ceramic cleaner, or a vinegar solution. And remember the razor blade scraper trick that can work wonders on ceramic tops too, but be extra gentle.
Got it. Gentle cleaning for the win. Okay, so we've covered the stovetop surface, but what about all those other parts that collect grime? Like, it's their job. The grates, burner caps, knobs. They need some love, too.
You're absolutely right. Remember those grates and burner caps we left soaking in their spa bath? Well, it's time to give them some attention.
Time to scrub-a-dub-dub. But what if they're still clinging to those stubborn stains after all that soaking?
Have no fear. Baking soda and vinegar are here. Sprinkle baking soda on the stubborn areas. Give them a scrub with a little vinegar and let them sit for a few minutes, then rinse thoroughly and dry them completely before putting them back on your stove.
It's amazing how those two ingredients can tackle pretty much anything. Okay, so grates and burner caps are sparkling.
Yeah.
What about the knobs in the surrounding area? Those tend to get pretty grimy, especially in my kitchen.
For those hard-to-reach areas around the knobs and burners, a toothbrush can be your best friend. Just dip it in some soapy water or cleaner and scrub away. You can even use an old toothbrush to clean the burner ports themselves. You know those tiny holes where the gas comes out? Just be sure to turn off the gas first.
Safety first, always. I'm definitely going to try that toothbrush trick. It's like giving my stove a mini dental cleaning. Okay, we've cleaned the stovetop grates, burner caps, knobs, and even the burner ports. Is there anything else we need to conquer? Or can we finally declare victory over our dirty stoves?
We're almost there. The final touch is to give your entire stove a once-over with a dry cloth to remove any lingering moisture or streaks. It's like the finishing polish on a freshly waxed car.
Ooh, I like the way you think. So we've got our cleaning arsenal, our battle plan, and our secret weapons. We're officially ready to wage war on those dirty stovetops. But before we launch our attack, I want to share a story about a time I learned the hard way why a clean stovetop is essential.
I'm all ears. Stories are the best way to learn, right?
Absolutely. So picture this. I was hosting a fancy dinner party for a group of friends. I had slaved away in the kitchen all day preparing a gourmet meal that would make Gordon Ramsay proud. The main course was a masterpiece, perfectly seared scallops with a creamy risotto, and the aroma in my apartment was heavenly. But here's where things took a turn for the disastrous. As I reached for the dessert, a beautiful chocolate lava cake that I had spent hours perfecting. I glanced down at my stovetop, and let me tell you, it wasn't a pretty sight.
Oh, no.
It was covered in splatters of oil crumbs of garlic bread and a few stray noodles that had escaped my notice. It looked like a culinary crime scene.
A dinner party disaster, I can only imagine.
It was a moment of pure panic. My guests were about to arrive, and my once pristine stovetop was a complete mess. I frantically grabbed a dishcloth and tried to wipe away the evidence, but it was no use. The damage was done.
Oh, I bet that taught you a valuable lesson about the importance of keeping a clean stovetop even when you're in the midst of cooking a feast.
You bet it did. Now I always make it a point to clean as I go. It not only prevents those last-minute disasters, but also makes the whole cooking process much more enjoyable.
Absolutely. It's amazing how a clean and organized workspace can make all the difference, not just in the kitchen, but in any aspect of life. It's like clearing your mind and creating space for creativity and focus.
So true. It's like that saying, a cluttered space equals a cluttered mind. But let's be honest, even the most diligent cleaners among us have those moments when a stubborn stain just refuses to budge. It's like they have a personal vendetta against our cleaning efforts.
Stubborn stains can be so frustrating, but don't worry. I've got a few more tricks up my sleeve. One of my favorites is using a hairdryer to heat up those stubborn, baked-on messes before you start scrubbing.
Wait, a hairdryer on my stovetop? Are you serious?
I know it sounds crazy, but trust me, it works. The heat from the hairdryer helps to soften and loosen those stubborn stains, making them much easier to remove.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What temperature setting should I use? I don't want to accidentally melt my stovetop.
Just use the low heat setting and hold the hairdryer a few inches away from the stain. You'll be amazed at how easily it comes off. And while we're on the topic of unusual cleaning tools, have you ever tried using a credit card to scrape away those stubborn bits of food that cling to the edges of your stovetop?
A credit card. I feel like I'm breaking all the cleaning rules here, but hey, if it works, I'm all for it.
It's a surprisingly effective technique. Just be sure to use an old credit card that you no longer use and avoid scratching the surface of your stovetop.
Okay, I'm adding credit card cleaning to my list of secret cleaning weapons.
Oh.
So we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about cleaning supplies, techniques, tips, and even shared a few stories along the way. But I'm sure our listeners are eager to hear the most important question of all. How often should they actually be cleaning their stovetops? Is it a daily thing, a weekly thing, or can we get away with a monthly deep clean?
That's a great question, and the answer really depends on how often you cook and how messy you tend to be. If you're a daily cook who enjoys creating culinary masterpieces with a few splatters and spills along the way, then a quick wipe down after each use is a good habit to get into.
Makes sense.
Think of it as brushing your teeth for your stovetop, and a little maintenance goes a long way.
I like that analogy. Wipe down is like brushing, and a deep clean is like going to the dentist for a checkup and a good polishing.
Oh.
So for those of us who aren't cooking up a storm every day, how often would you recommend a deep clean?
For most people, a deep clean once a month is a good rule of thumb. But if you notice your stovetop is starting to look a little grimy or those stubborn stains are making a reappearance, then it's time to give it some extra attention.
Okay, that sounds totally manageable. A monthly deep clean plus quick wipe downs as needed. I think even the busiest people can handle that. But before we wrap up, I have one last question that's been on my mind. What's the biggest mistake people make when cleaning their stovetops?
That's an excellent question. I'd say the biggest mistake is using abrasive cleaners or tools that can scratch the surface. Remember, those sleek ceramic and induction tops are delicate and need to be treated with care. Another common mistake is not cleaning up spills and splatters as they happen. It's much easier to wipe away a fresh mess than to tackle a baked-on, hardened mess later.
So true. It's all about prevention, just like with anything else.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've officially covered everything there is to know about cleaning stovetops, from the basics to the most advanced techniques. I'm feeling like a cleaning ninja, ready to conquer any culinary mess that comes my way.
I'm proud of us. We've gone from cleaning novices to seasoned pros in just one episode. Now go forth and make those stovetops sparkle.
And remember, a clean stovetop is a happy stovetop.
Oh.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of stovetop cleaning. Until next time, happy cleaning everyone up here.